Alrighty, everyone, we bring ourselves back to some more Rome 2 with another battle replay on the beautiful barbarian settlement of Eildon. I actually can see quite a bit from where we're at. That is this is a battle brought to us by Madara Uchiha, who is playing Carthage. Second best Uchiha out there. It's actually phrased Uchiha Madara, to be fair, but still the second best Uchiha. He is playing an Ultra Funds battle, 3v3. Let's get into the army comps. Let's get this party started. As I said a little earlier, Carthage is being brought to us by Uchiha Madara. He's got 2 noble cavalry, including the general, and because he brought in noble cavalry, I am hoping he does win. He's got himself to fix ballista, 1 mercenary Balearic slinger, 3 mercenary Cretan archers, 8 Libyan infantry. We also have 2 mercenary noble fighters hiding somewhere, and 3 mercenary Samnite warriors. Next up, next to him is Seleucid, who has brought to us an Agema cavalry general, 2 silver shield pikemen, which is wild. I like them. 4 Syrian heavy archers, 10 thorax swords, 1 mercenary Syrian armored elephant, 1 hillman, and 1 fixed ballista. Lastly, but certainly not least, is Averni, brought to us by SP Life, who has 6 Oathsworn, including his general, 1 fixed ballista, 4 Gallic hunters, 6 chosen swords, and 3 Celtic warriors. So while Seleucid went very mid-tier with a lot of thorax, a few high tiers, but mostly mid-tier, Averni is definitely bringing that high-tier strength, while Madara's splitting the difference. But on the opposing side, on defense, we have Galatia, brought to us by Mr. Rock, which we can see some Celtic slingers, okay, and some mercenary Syrians. So probably 3 mercenary Syrians and 1 Celtic slinger. We got a Levy Freeman here. Well, you can actually see, yeah, that's exactly what it is. We also have Egypt, brought to us by XYZZ. Let's see what we see of Egypt. Okay. So 2 Galatian Royal Guard. Got a Royal Peltis and some Thorax in the back there. And Athens, we can already see hugging the town center. That's what this hill is, a very defendable town center position. And glad to see he's already on it. Because he is a god. In particular, Genis the god. No, he's got himself, it looks like, 2 pikemen here. And a slinger unit. I don't think they did. I don't know if they did. But with that is the army comps out of the way. Let us get this party truly started.
Barbarians! I spit on them! Why should we fear these unwashed savages? They are not true soldiers, they are thugs playing at war. We shall end this game of theirs and put their leaders in chains. Make ready!
Well, good thing Carthage is separated from Averni by another army, because I don't think Averni would be too happy to hear about his opinions on the barbarian menace. Because that's what the Greens in this war are, barbarian menaces, obviously. Alright, so we got first set of artillery going for this corner wall. Yep, that makes sense. 5 kills, nice. That one's not firing at the moment. Oh, it is. Single shot firing. Going for this corner spot. Okay. Makes sense, makes sense. It looks like their core of the assault will be here. Which is interesting. You don't normally see it too much with this being the assault path. Normally you'll see it more spread out. This corner here is particularly easy for the attackers to take. And then with that you spread the attack down. So you basically get this avenue, maybe get a few units sneaking that way, and this avenue with support from this hill, kind of firing down, and you kind of take this corner. This isn't a bad place to take. Similarly, this wall will be easy for the attackers to strike, as well as this wall. The issue just kind of comes with how close it is to the town center. You force the defenders kind of into this spot here, and you kind of have to fight around that spot and try to get around while the enemy has the advantage on the fire here, or try to sneak around this way. Enemy gets fire here. Kind of force yourself down this path and kind of get halted here. And the defenders do something similar. This holds, firing from up here, and firing from like over here. So you get caught up in a choke point either way. The benefit of this one is it's a little further away from, it's a little easier to like hold off the gate at this point than it is with the gate right in front of them. As you can see, Levy Freeman obviously running out front to stop the enemy. Which I think it's Egypt and Athens, so they have a pretty decent shock cav because they have Hippias. So they can be pretty dangerous on the cavalry front as well. Oh, Celtics are about to be ambushed. Yep, they forced them to back off. Okay. Got 100. Probably work on either widening it or creating another breach, depending on how much ammo you have. Because that's already a 30. If you just aim for that, you'll probably get a pretty good breakdown. But if you kind of want that corner as well, you can start working on that. 67 here. So doing its job. Yep, see, this is what I mean. We already have a unit of Hippias launchers walking, interestingly enough. Yeah, so Hippias lancers making its way down. The noble cavalry are hidden. But I think the Hippias lancers are better. It's been a while since I've compared the two. I can just do this actually. Less melee attack, less weapon damage, more charge bonus, less melee defense, and everything else is the same. Yeah. Except noble cavalry have resistance to heat. Ooh, we got another cavalry. That noble horse will pretty much crush a lot. Yeah, forcing the Igema cavalry back. Bad engagement. I don't know why you took that bait, Seleucid. You cost yourself a decent Igema cavalry. And Igema cavalry, out of all the cavalry here, when it comes to shock, is probably the best. Noble cavalry is probably going to be the best cavalry fielded on this fight. In general. Yeah. Down 10 men, and actually took a good amount of health damage, so they might be dropping a lot faster. Honestly, would have committed with the levies and the hillmen, or against the levies with the hillmen and the Celtic still. And, sorry about that. And use the Igema cavalry, and kind of like rotate up the elephant a little bit more to kind of hold them back. Would be my bet. Yeah, they're still in range. They lost 10 more cavalry, so they're down 20 men. That's not good. I actually got a decent amount of kills, and it looks like there's still hoplites there. Might be thorax. One more hit, and we'll probably see. But a decent amount of damage. That probably is... Looks like Athens there. Can be thorax. Those are Royal Peltas, and they look like that. They're definitely not Galatian Royal Guard. Ooh, we can see the Egyptian general. See, you're on an ultra fun match. Why the hell do you need a carrying axeman general? I'm tempted. Probably next week I'll show the Ildon battle I had on stream. And why you don't bring a carrying axeman general, and that was on large. There's no excuse not to bring a better general on Ultra funds. You have so many more funds. If you're really like, hey, my build cannot work with a general other than a carry and axeman, you need to rethink your build. Having a weak general is a liability, because a lot of your units do not have disciplined, or a lot of your units also don't have encourage. The issue that comes from this is literally you just have such a huge morale debuff for losing your general, and you can tear down a carry and axeman. That is brutal. 20 more losses there. It looks like, yeah. They fit more the mercenary veterans, or do they fit more the thorax? These look like mercenary veterans. So there's another unit of mercenary veterans somewhere. I mean, Egyptian infantry. Like, you have an Egyptian infantry. Delete the Egyptian infantry, delete the carry, and you have enough for another general. Thorax swords. I'm just disappointed. Brought a fucking carry and axeman general on an ultra funds. Like, God. How shit do you have to be at making armies to do that? To make your general a liability when you're like playing on the increased funds, and they just fuck up that. They push themselves into shield wall while knowing that the charge would go off then around there. They did the shield wall way too late, blobbed up their forces, and took that what is it, javelin volley. And you gave Celtic Warriors 35 kills initially. Like, that is insane. I mean, it's not all of them. The Egyptian infantry got some, but, I mean, that's 15 kills on Thorax. 14. I'm assuming they're going to get one more. Yeah, they did. There you go. But yeah, they're going to have to take this engagement. That's why you send the lower tier units. Yep. See if you can get the javelin volley. It's nice. You got it. And you got it right down the middle. And it actually broke that charge up. That Hillman can get in. What are you doing? Are you on formation attack? It looks like you might be. Javelins go in, take out more of the Noble Horse. Noble Horse down to 49 men. You fucked up using the Noble Horse. Do not send your general in. Please do not send your fucking general in. Holy shit. Trick when chasing cavalry. After the javelin volley, when they start running, redouble click on them. Because it will give you another javelin volley. It resets the javelin volley if it's ready. Yeah. Celtic Warriors, I mean, yeah, they're down almost 30 men, those Thorax. These Libyans are just getting shot to shit, but hey, that's their purpose at the moment. Don't send that noble cavalry in, there's too much ranged, and that's a hoplite. You might get away with it. I don't know how he got away with that charge. Yeah, get them out of there immediately before the volleys start targeting them. Already starting to lose. Ooh, lost 4. Gonna get another charge in? Yeah, he is. Nice. A little bit of an infantry sally out to delay the enemies on the wall. And, as you can kind of see there, Averni was sneaking its way up and around to block off that push, which is very, very nice of them. That's super useful, getting those Thoreos spearmen hauled up. And what I would do, honestly, start funneling more units around like that. Do that with another unit or two. Ooh, but that is another noble cavalry coming on out. Well, this sally out's happening. The reason I hate Ultra funds is Rome 2 was made for large funds. Later games were made for Ultra, which is really weird. This one was made for large. Ooh, nice noble cavalry hit. I mean, that's already at 80 kills, yeah. The noble horse is going to get in there, and it might be a bit dangerous. Baleric's having the time of their life. It might have been actually regular hoplites. It was regular hoplites that was shot by the artillery. But kind of, the reason I hate it so much is, in large funds, you have to commit to the sally out. Ultra funds can let you get away with not fully committing to the sally out, like having a good sally out, but still having a good number of troops left. Like, 2 noble cavalry is expensive. I bet you'll see it probably about, I'd say 6 to 7 Galatian legionnaires. That's my prediction, to be honest. I genuinely have no idea if I'm right or wrong, but that's what my prediction is. It actually happened to me on Parthia, like, I think it was like 5 or 6 cataphracts come out. And that's pretty significant investment, to be fair. Nice Balearics. Yeah, that noble horse is trapped again. They're just gonna... Yeah, they're just going to run through the enemy. Just pull through. And get caught up again. Yeah, they're pretty much dead. That noble horse is dead. How's the other one looking? Down to 21. I mean, they did horrible with this noble cav. They did not cover the cavalry well. But you see it a lot. Yeah, get that javelin volley off, break the unit. Yep, they're down to 11. To be honest, they'll get into the Balearics. But they have such few men left. They're gonna die. Yeah. Those Balearics will take some casualties. Yep, there it goes, down to 4. 106, 6 men left. Libyans are now winning the fight here. How do we have here? Now, Thorax back looks like, yeah, these guys are just going to volley them down and take the arrows in the front. Don't do this. That's just a waste of ammo. Over there, it's not. This one over here, that Celtic Slinger is not. This one is. Or that Syrian Archers is. Because they're just front dumping. You can kind of get away with it a bit more with Slingers because they have higher ammo capacity. And you definitely get away with it with Javelin units because they're made to go through armor. Don't do it with Archers unless you're using heavy shot. Ooh, nice volley there. Brutal, brutal stuff, yeah. That Thorax is dropped down hard. How's that Ballista looking? 51 kills. 35 there. How do you end up doing? 114 kills on that Bastion. 76 there. Don't send your general out. This fight's pretty much over. You're wasting a noble horse. Oh, maybe not. I don't think he's paying much attention. That might actually be a big play. He's committed. It's too late to pull back now. And he pulls back. Why the fuck would you do that? Why would you do that? You could have killed the Balearic. Yeah, he's just fucked his general. Worst commit. When you commit to a charge, you have to commit to it. Do not pull back. It can be a wash, to be fair. And a lot of times it can be. You could wash out and lose that general without doing a crazy amount of damage. But he would have killed that Balearic. He would have 100% killed that Balearic and probably done some good damage. But he's in a situation where he's now lost half of his men with no kills. When you decide to commit to a charge, you have to commit to the charge. 100% of the time. Do not do what that noble horse did. He backed out way too late, and he fucked himself. This Hippeus, I guess, committed against the noble cavalry. I don't know why. And now he's just gonna pull through. Okay, yeah. Yeah, makes sense. No reason he should be able to do that, but hey, he's just gonna fuck himself. Because now they're no longer attacking, and now they're being hit. Yep, they're down to 55. What he should have done with the Hippeus is, once he noticed the infantry coming, switch targets, hit them, blasted through them, and he probably would have gotten through because they would be running and into the next unit. Because they were pretty thin. Are you getting back into this charge? Yeah, the noble cavalry has so much men on them. But, back to what I was saying. What that noble cavalry did, or not that noble cavalry, noble horse did, hitting those Balearics and immediately pulling out, because the situation wasn't going to be preferable, was a mistake. He was already basically committed into the charge. He should have finished off this Balearic and seen where he could have gone next. He might have gotten a pretty decent charge against the Libyans or got a few more kills. He definitely would have gone over 100, which would have been a pretty big win, despite the rest of his cavalry being lackluster. Over here, I mean, yeah. That Theraeus has 7 kills. Why is that on the front lines? Don't tell me it used all its ammunition and got 7 kills, because if it did, I'm 95. See, that's the one that's fine to be on the front line. It got its kills on the javelins. That's fine. What the fuck is one with 7 kills doing out here? Egyptian archers do... What did Egypt spend their money on? Egyptian archers, a Carian Axeman general, thorax swords. I saw 2 Galatian Royal Guard. So either he has a huge meme build with a bunch of chariots and elephants, which he should have used on the Saliad if that was the case, or he just built the shittiest army in the world. Or he's just relied all on... Interesting. All on Galatian Royal Guard. But if that's the case, fucking cut some of the slop out of your army and get a better general. That way you can honestly probably throw a few, the refresh, because Galatian Royal Guard have... so when they get exhausted, you can keep them fighting if you're relying around an infantry attrition battle. So you can keep them refreshed and going. Probably a cavalry general so they can go in and out really fast. So if he goes all infantry with, yeah, see, look, what? Why? Why do you have your pike sitting there? He is Hellenic Royal Guard. I love Hellenic Royal Guard, don't get me wrong, but that's 4 units of pikemen probably in the town center. Just not contributing. That means they've already committed to losing this front. If they already have all those defenses set up in the inner keep, they're expecting to lose the front fight and just grind out the end fight. Which is a mistake. Yeah, you can already see the balance of power. If that was the case, you should never have sallied out in the first place. If you were already committing to this type of defense, you should have fucking stayed in the walls with your lower tier infantry and grinded as much as possible. Yep, here's 2 Galatian Legionnaires, 3 Galatian Legionnaires, 4 Galatian Legionnaires, 5 Galatian Legionnaires. I told you, at least 6 or 7 Galatian Legionnaires are going to be on the field despite 3 noble cavalry. That's insane. It's why I hate Ultra Funds. There's 6. Or, yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yep, 6 Galatian Legionnaires. Like, that's insane that he can afford all that. Yeah, and the main thrust of the push will come this way. Honestly, you need some more towers, and you have a good amount. Get the towers in here, 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 and some more here. Maybe not over there. No, they might have done a good one, but you need them in the center for mostly to kind of break open that breach a little bit better. You don't want to get this army as well as it's doing. Again, Egyptian archers, like Egyptian archers, a Carian Axeman general. Like, what is this fucker thinking? I hate his army comp already. From what I've seen, his army comp is shit. Genuinely. He might do really well in the battle, but it's due to more of his skill as a player than his skill in building army comps. Because that is a shitty army comp with a ton of weaknesses that this man has already built that I would relish fighting.
Ready for orders.
But I feel Ultra Funds also tends to allow weaker players to make up for their being weaker players with just units. With just stats. Genuinely. What are you doing here? That looks like he's trying to pull through, but it didn't. What is he targeted on? What is he doing? I think he's targeted the back unit. Syrian heavies need to move out of the way, or, honestly, oh gosh, another legionnaire out. Does he really have that many legionnaires that he wants to go out and fight a Samnite? Get that noble fighter down, yeah. Like, what is this guy doing? The Yima cavalry, I mean, they're down to 35, so I guess they're like, we're pretty much already dead. But hey. Oh, did get the charge off. Nice. Does get those legionnaires in the flank. He's basically sacrificing them, it looks like. Yeah. He did what he could. Carthage doing a great job just forcing the Cretans back. And he's probably just going to grind in this spot where, yeah, his Libyans should do well. He burned down that tower, so when it's time, he'll move these two in, most likely. Yeah. He's going to get shot, but Samnites love getting shot, genuinely. Like, getting shot is their pastime. They might be in formation attack because those guys are starting to pull. But it looks like it's more of a formation than the active pull. Yep, a weakened Thorax is going to help finish off this Galatian Legionnaire. Probably Vivaling. They might get the charge. Let's see. Yeah, Valing. Wonderful job. Getting those Galatian Legionnaires in the flank. And he's probably... Honestly, yeah. Charge those nobles right into the Thorax hoplite on the flank. And crush them. 60 kills, and they've taken it so many volleys. Like, as I said, Samnites love getting shot. Well, they don't, but you as a player love having Samnites shot because they just have so much in the way of armor. Honestly, don't commit out of that fight. You need to stay in that fight. Yeah, 95 armor. 60 of it being non-shield. Nobles, yeah. Nobles don't want to be shot as much. Thorax getting in. Yeah, that's going to be pretty much a finish off on the last of this outer group. Libyans making their way down, holding up some defenses. Pretty good job, because they're getting ready to break through that Thorax. And if they do it well, this unit hits that. This unit hits that. No, they're sending an Egyptian unit in. Another Thorax. Another Egyptian Thorax, like, genuinely. What do they fucking spend their money on? Because, God, their army is shit so far. They did well with the Egyptian archers. I mean, if you're planning a sally out, 125 archers aren't that bad. But if you want to save money on archers as Egypt, best bet, and it's my favorite archer to bring as Egypt, Nubian bowmen. 150 archers, still fairly cheap. A lot cheaper than Cretans. You can bring 4 of them. And they do their job well. Yep, that Thorax is going to break. And it's going to be time for this. Yep, break. Go, go, go. Widen the gap. One army. One army out. One army that way. Come on. Oh, they're going to send both that way. You need to get another army. Oh, there he goes. He did. Yep, you need to get another... You need to keep that fight occupied, and you need to start funneling troops in this way. Which, infantry-wise, he doesn't have a crazy amount left. But he is doing it. Libyan infantry into the back of these Thorax, which will break that. And that will be a healthy Thorax freed up. Kind of force them away from this fight, which they are winning, to be fair. Like, they're beating the infantry there. Mercenary nobles getting into that fight, nice. These mercenary nobles down to 79 men. They're just getting shot, yeah. But you definitely need to save ammo because there's... Okay, I picked Hoplite General. That's pretty good for Athens. I mean, Hellenic Royal Guard are good, but, I mean... Yep, they've already prepared for the Inner Keep fight. They're done. Everyone but Galatia is pretty much done out of this fight. They're not going to commit more resources. Because to be perfectly honest, though, a Galatian Royal Guard or 2 into this fight probably could have swept up Carthage and forced them back out. While this side's being held up, to be perfectly honest, the Galatian Royal Guard would do best there instead of sitting back. And if you're worried about getting shot, you send your archers along with Athens to go support and break this front. Galatia... Yeah, Galatia's going to just shoot them in the flank. That's why they reposition their guys like that. But you got a noble cav, just... Oops. It's a general, but literally sneak the... Yep, look at that. Galatia's pulling back. They're already They have so many troops left, and they're already pulling in for an Inner Keep defense. Honestly, fucking idiots. A lot of them. Eildon does well, like as a final stand on the inner keep, but you have so many troops you can bleed them on these walls. They're not taking advantage of this. Your Galatian legionnaires could have stopped those chosen, and when the fight got tougher, that's when you pull back. This is not a position that you should be pulling back from at the moment. You are outside of this left-hand side, which Egyptian support would have crushed, because this isn't dangerous yet, to be perfectly honest. This isn't. Especially because they know you have pikes. They have to be fairly conservative with some of their ammo, which is what the Gallics are doing, to be honest. But why the fuck are you pulling back? This is not a very big defense position, so you're going to be clustered. You're going to get fucked by the enemies. You just sacrificed units that didn't need to be sacrificed and are allowing the enemies into a better position than you are way too early. You had them contained over here. You could have screwed them with fire. Seleucid, Averni could have bled a lot more than they have here. But these guys have decided they're going to pull back. They're done. And they're going to allow the enemies to get off. As I said, Galatian Royal... These guys don't have a lot of infantry left. The two Galatian Royal Guard that I see going this way and this way would have crushed most of Uchiha's, Madara's infantry. Leaving Carthage in a lot worse of a state than they are. Because Carthage still has... There's 82 on that noble. 160 on that Libyan. 153 on that Libyan. Or, no, sorry, Samnite. And 160 on this Samnite. This Libyan is at 87, okay. This one's at 40, happens. This one's at 78. So the infantry inside is not good. They could have been crushed and eliminated. And they would have been left with 3 infantry units. And that's when you pull back out as Egypt. And that's when, if you need to, you can pull out as Galatia and Athens over here. I think this is a mix of Athens and Egypt. So Galatia could have pulled back from here. Because you have a bunch of legionnaires still left. You could have held that front for a long enough period of time to crush this side here before, when this is secured, pull back. Or even reinforced this corner and force the enemy into a blockade. And crush them down. You could have even moved your pikes up to here and here. If you wanted to, you don't have to. And force them to use archer shots. Force them not to focus on your ranged or your infantry, and force them to focus on the pikes. But Galatia's coming in with pretty much full ammo. I mean, there's some healthy Syrian heavies. And, I mean, Carthage did have to use a lot of its ammo to win this front. And that's why I'm saying the Galatian Royal Guard probably would have won this for them. And might have turned the tide of this battle. I'm predicting it's going to be a loss for Egypt. Or for the defenders. Because they pulled back way too early. They did a monumental fuck up with pulling back like they did. So 2 Hellenic Royal Guard at least. Huge monumental fuck up. Why are you pulling away from this front? No. The center is already heavily defended enough. Defend this side. Sorry. Defend here because you need to. And that allows you to focus your forces forward. Defend this front here. And it allows you to have the majority of what's in the inner keep defend forward. If they weaken this front or give it up, I would be disgusted in the defenders. How'd that ballista do, by the way? 225 kills on that Averni ballista. What the fuck do they kill? Yeah, the Gallics are just going to literally secure this outer area, and they're going to just choke this area out. They're going to be able to get fire here into the flank, here into the flank, and here into the front. Nowhere is the range going to be properly safe. And not only that, but they're wasting a shit ton of ammo on these thorax swords when they know that there's a shit ton of O-sword left. This is more Egyptian archers. What the fuck did Egypt spend their money on? So they have 4 Egyptian archers what the fuck is wrong with this Egypt build, man? It is disgusting. Like, I am genuinely disgusted. Yeah. Gallic Hunters are just going to start slaughtering the range. Those slingers have full ammo, so take them down. Perfect. And then just start working on the rest of the archers. Yeah. Carthage is going to be very battered to push, so this is going to be up to Seleucid. This is going to be up to Averni. We tend to have a lot of their men left. If they can eliminate the range, the Silver Shield Pikemen will grind out a lot of them. Yep, Slinger's already going down. Oh, are they going to just... Yeah. They're immediately pike stacking. Holy shit, they think they're targeting the pike, so they're pike stacking? Oh my god. These defenders are garbage. Genuinely garbage. Players, they're genuinely garbage players. Egypt, because their army comp is garbage. Yeah. They're moving the Atlantic Royal Guards back. Dangerous position, yeah. Slingers are already almost dead. This is why you don't enter keep camp, by the way. Without training the forces appropriately. This is why inner keep camp is shit, and because they brought Egyptian archers, they have 25 morale, they're going to break instantly. Woo boys, that's one archer down. There's going to be a second archer down. Wonderful job, and a slinger pretty much. Yeah, they're just throwing picked hoplites into the range to try to keep them alive. It's just such shit, man. Yep, and they concede. They immediately concede because they realized they were fucked. That's why I wanted to show this battle up. It's not the cleanest fight, to be honest. It's not the closest fight. But it needed to be done. Do not do what the defenders did. Whether you're on your large, whether you're on ultra, whether you're on medium, whether you're on small funds, whether you're on your own custom funds. Do not do what the defenders did. They committed to two different strategies, both of them opposite of each other. They attempted to sally out with not enough support, and as such, they lost a lot of good units early on. Second, they tried to enter keep camp with a ton of extra units that they couldn't properly cover. They didn't train the enemies beforehand, the enemies weren't weakened enough, and they decided to enter keep camp way too early. Well, technically town center camp. It's not necessarily in their keep, but it is a natural one. They're on a hill. It's pretty well defended with two ways in. But what happens there is they literally just fuck themselves. Done, dusted, ruined. It's true. That's exactly what happened there. They fucked themselves. And that's kind of what I wanted to show off on that one. I know a lot of you guys don't make it to the end of the videos, but I do hope you do for this one. What is very important as a defender is to manage the points of egress well. They had the attackers contained. They did. Carthage was stuck in that corner. That was probably the biggest trouble spot, but like, as I said, the 2 units of Galatian Royal Guard that didn't get utilized that we knew of, which we'll check at YXCZ if what else he had, because I don't know where his money went. He had to have a ton left, based off what I was seeing. What he had to do was send those 2 units of Royal Guard into that corner, and he would have crushed Carthage. Carthage would have been down to 3 infantry units, and at that point, if you needed to pull back, because you were planning on inner keep camping, you can pull back then, still have 2 fairly healthy Galatian Royal Guards. The enemies would have been... Carthage would have been crippled. On the Seleucid and Averni side, you had so many legionnaires left there. You saw how many were pulling back. It was an obscene number of Galatian legionnaires. What needs to happen on that front is literally hold them in place and shoot them to shit. Force them, because you have pikes. You're planning on sitting in the inner keep with some elite pikes and some regular pikes. Force them to utilize ammo to break through. Seleucid and Averni had a shit ton of ammo left because they decided to run away super early. So that's why you saw at the end, right before they conceded, they straight up lost 3 units of arch. They lost 2 units of archers and a slinger that were pretty full on ammo. They died at that moment. It was over. You need to force them to use their resources, before you sit in a passive defensive position. And it's why passive defense will always lose to active defense. If you're relying on choke points and pre-set up positions at the beginning, and you don't allow yourself the flexibility to change that up and actively move to a different position where you know you can hurt the enemy more than it will hurt you, or think you do. Sometimes your judgment is wrong, sometimes something happens. You lose. Holding that initial choke point at the walls, which wasn't their original strategy, would have been useful. When the sally out was failing, they should have stopped sending units out. They sent like 3 more units out to get slaughtered. That was a waste. And I do hope you get that from this video, just from what I was saying, some of the mistakes that they made. Now don't worry, the next 2 weeks I do have full-length battles queued up, ones where the defenders do not queue out. But I think this was important to look at. Let me know what you would have done differently. I would have completely rebuilt the Egyptian army, and I haven't looked at it yet. But let's get into army comps. I normally say something good or bad on each side. There's nothing good about the defenders. The defenders did nothing right. Nothing at all in that entire battle. Everything they did was an incorrect decision. The attackers, in the end, made mistakes, had benefits, but they were aided by their 3 extra attackers on the defense that just gave them the victory. But let's get into it. Madro-Chiha is Carthage, 106 on that noble cav. That Balearic 224. Cretans 181, 114, 174. Libyans 158, 136, 201, 147, 130, 100. 2 of them not getting over 100 kills. 1 of them still at full strength. Nobles 172. They did a good job of targeting them. They did. Samnites 95 kills, but they absorbed a ton of ammo during the meantime. And then 2 healthy Samnites that were pretty much untouched. Mr. Rogers and his neighborhood over at Seleucid, pretty much didn't use the majority of his army. 101 kills on that Syrian. Still 2 healthy Syrians. A bunch of healthy Thorax. The elephant was still left. Yeah. Nothing too crazy on kills. Dude was still healthy. He still had the majority of his army to go. That would have done damage. He had, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 healthy Thorax left. 2 half-strength Thorax left. Full Syrian elephant. Yeah. Then, of course, SB Life, again, not using a lot of his elites. So you'll see a lot of just healthy units and not too crazy on the kills. That's not a bad reflection on the attackers. They did their jobs. They grinded where they needed to. They just didn't have an opportunity to use a lot. 225 on the Ballista. Wonderful job there. Healthy archers still left. Those 2 archers at the end, the 35 and 30, literally were getting that at the end of the fight. 247 on the Chosen. 149. 189. Still 2 healthy Chosens. And then still 6 healthy Osworn, including the general. 1 of them was barely touched, the rest of them are full strength. And then a Celtic warrior, 1 of them getting 114. They did their job on the initial. Mr. Rock, Galatia. Let's see how many. 3 noble horse, none of them doing well because this man needs to learn how to control cavalry on a sally out. Because he didn't do it well. Syrians, though, 142, 114, 112. They did a great job. They were firing at the units outside. If they didn't get over 100 kills, I would be disturbed. But let's count how many Galatian legionnaires he has, and then let's see how they did. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 Galatian legionnaires, 3 noble cavalry. You would not be able to get away with that on large funds. And that's why I hate Ultra Funds. He was able to get 3. If he was a good player, that 3 noble, a good cavalry player, I should say, he was too eager to pull back. But my issue with him is his cavalry plays. If he was a better cavalry player, he would have been able to do a significant amount of damage with 3 noble horses and still had 10 Galatian legionnaires. Like, that is a disgusting amount of army still left, despite spending, what? I think they're 1,300 each. I don't remember how much they cost, but they're over 1,000 each, so at least 3,000 gold. But let's take a look at them. 112 for that Legionnaire. Still very healthy Legionnaire. 143, 110. Yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Still 6 incredibly healthy Legionnaires. 5 full-strength Legionnaires still left. And 1 pretty much like 3/4 strength. Galatian Sword and Levy Freeman. I do not want to look at that Egyptian army until the end, because I don't want to get overly mad. Janus the God did not play like a god. Wasted at Epeius. Five ranged. Slingers didn't do shit. That slinger was dead. That archer was dead. That Cretan got 117. That Rhodian was still healthy. Hoplites got fucked. Thorax 132. That's about it. I mean, he still had 2 pikemen, 3 picked hoplite. Like, he still had a defense force. And I think he did a good job of being like a front line that lost a lot. This army, as I said, Galatia could have stayed for a lot longer. I don't want to look at this army. Okay. Shit. Whatever. 2 Galatians, 2 Hellenics. Fuck me, man. What is this shit build? Thorax 119, 132. If you're going to build a core like this, you don't do 2-2-2. You don't play this game. If you're going to get 2 Royal Peltas, get 4 Royal Peltas. Use them as support for your frontline infantry there. And then they can be used as the back line as the more elite units come in. Or, better idea, get rid of those Royal Peltists. Get 4 Galatian Royal Guard. Archer-wise, they got 151. One of them got 151. The other 2 were dead. Whatever. 119, 132. Yeah, 2 units got over 100, and they were both Thorax, which are always workhorses. They're the mid-tier infantry. What I would say for this, for XY or YXZZ, do not. He didn't specialize in anything, and his army was shit. It was. If you're going to bring shitty range, bring Nubians. Never bring a carrying axeman general, because they get nuked. Now, I think I'll do the Yildon one that we fought next, and I'll show you how fast they get basically focused out. Then Egypt no longer has a general, and they're kind of fucked. I don't know why you brought Egyptian archers. You could have brought Nubians, and they're not too much more expensive. He didn't use any of his Galatians Royal Guard. He barely used the Peltists. You know what? I can live with the split too. You should have used the 2 Royal Peltists earlier, I would say. You should have used those on the corner. When they were coming down from the breach, you could have Royal Peltist them, as well as one of your Thoreas you wasted for no reason. The one with 13 kills. Even if you did that, you still had 2 Royal Peltists that you could have used to support the front. Would have broken the Carthaginian infantry because you would have javelined and then came in against the weakened remnants and actually been able to defeat the enemy there. Carthage would have been out of the game, and you would have been in a better position to continue. But no, they didn't do that. They did not use any of their elites and left the lower and mid-tier units to die when they didn't need to. Outside of that one Thorax with 66 kills. Rock pulled back way too early. The only one I think who did really well at defending was actually Janus the God. which, to be perfectly honest, I'm not the biggest fan of his build. There's a lot of units I wouldn't use. I think he should have had a few more Thorax. And should have been better with the Hippeus, but I think out of all three of these guys, I like this army the best because it. I like Galatia's army the best. Galatia's army is definitely the best out of all of them, but I like Genesis' army. I genuinely do. I think they could have committed better. They lost a lot initially, but it looks like that's what their role was. They were committed to that outside fight. And absorbing ammo, and they did their job. It's just the other two didn't. But I do want to take a look at something. So he's brought that shit. I want to check something. Yeah, you're getting this, by the way. I'm actually going into custom battle. Give me fucking... Egypt. Carrying Axeman's 400, so you do have to spend a bit. You have to spend at least 1,300 here. You're on Ultra funds. Yeah, the difference in cost is less than 100 gold. It's less than 100 gold for all 4 of those archers. There you go. So you can actually see the appropriate fund amount. 14,400 on Ultra. Why the fuck are you spending on Egyptian archers when you could have brought Nubians? Hardly breaks the bank. They're 360 each. They're not a crazy elite, so if you don't want to spend on archers, bring Nubians. Do not bring fucking Egyptian archers, okay? Not in an ultra fun battle. Like, that is literally... Yeah. You're at 12,560 left. Like, that is absolute bullshit that you couldn't afford. Honestly, don't bring the Ptolemaic calf. I said Hellenic, it's Ptolemaic, my bad. Don't bring that if you're going to commit like that. You didn't use the base, or the Ptolemaic anyways. 1, 2, 2. How much is that shit run up? There you go. Not only is this a better army than Egypt brought, that's 0 funds. By the way, that was spur of the moment, by the way. I just built a better Egypt army than he did. I'm just kidding. I have a carrying axeman general. So you'd get rid of that, and cut one of these down. You'd have 4, 2, 2, or even just actually get that thorax back. Get rid of those 2 Galatians. Bam. You have 270. I cut that down. 630. Get that. 40 gold left. You're stuck with 40 golds. I can mess around with that to make it work. But to be honest, 270, you can just do that. And boop boop. Or even, I think, with Thorax, I think are more than 70 though. Yeah, they're 85. So yeah. That's the most cost effective. There you go. Solid army. Far better than what they brought. You actually have a general that can do something to run around. Honestly, if you want to do better, you just get rid of these 2. And you got 70 left. For the scare... 900. If you want some more ranged, you can kind of... There you go. You still get 2 carrying axemen. And 0 funds. There you go. That would probably do the best. 3 Galatian Royal Guard as your heavy hitters. 2 Hellenics to hold up. 4 Nubian Bowmen because you're not really focused on ranged. Mobility on your general so you can run around and get the buffs to these Galatians who do have headhunt. 2 Carians to provide that javelin support that the Royal Peltis would, and a fear effect. Actually, no, Sobex are Yeah, they do. They scare and encourage your units and then scare everyone. I don't know why I included this part into it. Egypt just pissed me off, to be genuinely honest. And I hope you did all enjoy that. That will be all here today. And if you are going to play Ultra Fun's Egypt, this is a better army to bring than what you saw. Bye for now.